Right, it is 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Tomorrow's Light Up Ocala, and you couldn't have Light Up Ocala without electricity. And the guy I know who knows about electricity is Jim George.
Yeah.
And so I don't really have any questions about how it works, even though I don't really understand how electricity works. I just know that it does, which is all that matters to me. So Jim George is here, professor of the universe. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. Good morning.
How's everything with you?
Good, good. I was reading a NASA tech brief. I get the magazine. I actually put it on your desk out there so you can look at it.
Oh, boy.
And it shows that, you know.
NASA tech brief, Robin.
That's what it does. It tells you all the things, all the spinoffs that NASA has developed. And one of the spinoffs is 2 different cameras. One of them uses the eye of the butterfly.
Really?
Yeah, it examined the butterfly's eye and saw that it was able to see different frequencies than you and I are able to see as far as wavelengths.
Is that right?
And so it made a camera, as close as they could. They made a camera, and it talks about they use it now for finding cancer in your body. So,
wow.
So they inject the dye into your bloodstream, and then the physician wears a virtual headset, and he can look at your body and he can see if there's cancer in there or not.
Oh,
isn't that something?
Incredible, yeah.
Unbelievable. And the other one uses the eye of a mantis shrimp. So it's a large shrimp in the ocean.
Oh, my.
And what it does, it says that it detects the light refracting through the water. And so it tells the shrimp where he is as far as depth and location. And they said that they haven't copied it exactly, but right now, using the camera underwater, that they can pinpoint themselves within 6 meters of where they are in the world.
Wow,
just by use.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
It's amazing that they can do that, and it's amazing that there are creatures on this planet that have been given different equipment physically in order to survive. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It tells about how the butterfly's eye, and in the butterfly's case, how it can sense wind changes. You know, it can actually almost see the wind in the sense that it senses the direction of the wind, so it knows when it's taking off, if it's going to go north, east, south, or west, depending on how the wind currents are, everything.
It's amazing to
all
me.
from its eye.
I watch birds that are picking out bugs from the grass, and I think, how do they find so many bugs? I couldn't find that many bugs. It seems like they're always out there eating bugs, but and it never stops.
Yeah.
If I went out there looking for bugs, how many would I find? Maybe an ant here and there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. God is amazing. I'm telling you, he put in all, you know, the different creatures, things that we're just now finding out about. Just now finding out about.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
It is. So life is good. Downtown Ocala tomorrow night.
Are you involved with that at all?
I am not, except to the point I'm going to be a visitor. I'm going to stop by.
Us too.
Oh, okay.
And
we're
watch
visitors,
it and enjoy it. Yep,
Yeah.
enjoy Light Up Ocala. I do every year. I've only missed it, I think, 1 year since they've had it, and I forget where I was, or out of town, or worked late, or something. But anyway, it's a great time to be downtown. Downtown is exciting.
It is.
I think so.
It is. It's very exciting. They're doing a great.
They are. They're doing a really good job.
And then that hotel's coming in there?
Yes.
Yep.
A Hilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the framework up now. So all the steel, the beams are coming up from the ground.
Oh, the beams are showing up now?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
What did that building next to CenturyLink turn into? It looks like an apartment complex.
The condominiums, yeah.
Is it a condominium?
Right, Robin? Is that...
Yeah, high-end condominiums. So they're trying to sell them. So I don't know how many are sold. I haven't seen any lights on in there, so I don't know.
It looks like it was built in a hole, you know. It comes down. The parking lot's like underwater almost, you know.
But there's no view. I mean, you're viewing the one side, you view the CenturyLink building, and the other side, you view City Hall. Yeah. So there's really no aesthetic
That's
view.
part of it, yeah. That's got to be an issue for
I think so.
People who are looking to buy. That's probably one of the things they think about, right?
I guess an attorney might want to buy one if his office is right down there. The courthouse is right there. Everything's right there. I mean, he could just walk downstairs, walk to his at work every day, not have to worry about it.
Or clients, you know, maybe the high-end businesses like E1 and stuff, they might buy one, and that way when they have people coming in to buy their product, they can put them up in in there, which would serve better than a hotel.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
We had a story this morning about this, and I can get it because I'm going to say it wrong. This military device.
Oh yeah, the one that heats up the air.
Yeah,
well, it heats up your skin, basically. Yeah,
but 122 degrees. That could kill you. No, I mean it shows people. Can I just real quickly show you this video?
Mm-hmm.
We have to describe it for the listeners, but okay. So when they're using it on these people, these are not actors. There is a group of people walking toward it, and pretending to be troublemakers, and then they turn it on and watch. They just run away.
Yeah.
And when they show individual people, let's see, like this guy, she just walks away. He says, "There's one. Oh, she got hit by it," and it looks like it's just too much.
It's like it generates like a heat wave.
And as soon as you move away, then you are done. You're not hurting anymore.
Right, right. I read that in NASA Tech Brief also. What it does, it's like you're opening an oven door. And that initial heat hits you.
That's what it says.
It acts like that.
Well, that's great.
And you don't want to be anywhere near it. You want to get away from it.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Wow, that is amazing.
But it's temporary. Same, just as you can walk away from an oven door, you can walk away from this. Or when they turn it off, it goes away.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I wonder if they've used it and we don't know that they've used it. I
think all women have used the heat wave they get.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, theirs is better because theirs is mental.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Are you ready for some phone calls?
Oh, we are.
Put your headset on.
Sir.
We'll take a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Yes, good morning. Mr. George, yesterday I set up I've got a large gas fireplace, and I put the pilot light on, and we used it yesterday afternoon, and this morning was nice. So I plugged in my carbon monoxide alarm system, and I hit the reset on it, and it beeps real loud, and the red light went on. When I first plugged it in, it went back to green because there's no problem right now. The unit itself is maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe 8 years old. It seems to be working. Can I trust it?
Oh, I would believe so. But if you're saying the only thing it may detect is the fumes from the fireplace, those fumes are basically being consumed. That's what the fire is burning. So I wouldn't think you would have a problem. Not if the pilot light went out and you were still emitting gas, but I believe most of the new ones have checks, valves that would stop that. They should be okay.
It's one of these fireplaces where the flue is closed, so none of the heat gets up the chimney, and it runs and it actually heats my house. It's a wonderful feature because gas is basically fairly cheap, But I was surprised at what you said about the heat actually eats the fumes up. Then, huh?
Well, yes, it does. That's what it's living. It's like gas. Basically they say you can throw a match in a gallon bucket of gasoline and it will not burn.
Yeah.
But you let the fumes ignite. Like, for instance, we had a fire once, and I had a lawnmower in the garage, and it was full to the top with gas. And it didn't catch on fire. When I asked the fireman, he said, because it was full, so there was no fumes. If you'd only had a little bit in there and it was heating up around you and the fumes were escaping, it would have caught on fire.
Oh,
okay.
My.
I was told, talking to my neighbor, he says that these carbon monoxide, come along now with smoke detectors also in the same unit?
Yes.
Are they as good as detecting carbon monoxide as a single one would be with the smoke detector involved?
Yeah, there's different detectors. Just imagine 3 items on your ceiling instead of 1, but they're just built into one housing.
Yeah. Well, I'll take your advice tonight. I'm not going to worry about it. The one that I have seems to be functioning, and probably really don't even need it for the fact that you brought up.
Right. I wouldn't believe you, but just to be on the safe side, a lot of people change their units every 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, in our house, for instance, we have smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, like in the garage and such. And they're so inexpensive. Every 5 years, we just throw them away because the technology changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know what that detector has inside of it that detects poisonous gases?
Well, It's battery operated, or in your case, it could be 120 volts operated, but it's sampling, and how it's sampling is is beyond me. I think Jim might know, one of the callers. I've never really looked into how they sample. But it does do something with air movement also, because I noticed that when we open our oven door and take something out, and it's not burning, it could just be anything from bacon or what, that thing goes off like crazy. It senses the heat changes, it senses the motion changes, and it goes off. It's sampling the air, and I don't know, and it does it very quickly.
Well, anyways, I'm kind of glad we got the cooler weather, not only for light up tomorrow, but just I'm from up north originally, and at this time of year, I like my fireplace once in a while, especially when I'm watching the Packers.
Yeah, well, you guys will stay indoors most of the day. It's good for you. For me, it's going to be outside all day. It's not as good. It's windy and cold.
Well, thank you very much, and have a great light up tomorrow night.
Thank you. You too.
Yep.
And if I could just do a little PSA about that, the local fire department, the Ocala Fire Department, offers free smoke detectors. I don't know about carbon monoxide detectors.
Mm-hmm. Right, I don't know
but they offer free smoke detectors to anybody in their jurisdiction, anybody in the city.
They're very cheap. In other words, when I did On Top of the World, and we wired every house in On Top of the World, we bought them by the caseload, and they were like $3.50 a piece if they're by the case, and I think they're like $9 or $10 or something like that if you buy them individually. So I mean, you figure that price. That's everybody should have at least one. So if your house is divided, in other words, the bedrooms are separate from the other part of the house, you'll definitely want to put one, in each of the hallways or each one of the open spaces. So, in our case, we have like 6 of them in the house. We have them everywhere.
And even out by the dogs.
Down by the dogs, it's open air down there. There's really nothing nothing can burn down there that I know of.
Oh, okay.
But we do have a heater down there for them, though, in the winter.
Oh, you do?
We do, yes.
Oh, okay.
And you have another phone call.
They love it.
Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning, Mr. George. I was on the naval tanker for the entire active time in the Navy. And I've actually seen bosun mates take aviation gasoline, and at that time, aviation gasoline was like 110 octane, not higher. And they filled a pail of, or a bucket, if you want to call it, full of gasoline, but right to the brim.
Right.
And actually took cigarettes and put them into the gasoline. I just couldn't believe they were doing this. Mm-hmm. But now on the tanker I was on, we carried aviation gasoline, diesel fuel, jet fuel, JP5, JP7, heavy black oil, and then we also carried a large amount of water, because at that time the tin cans or destroyers, when they had maneuvers, they would go like full speed for I don't know how far a distance and then shut everything off. All that steam that they built up in the boilers, it was high pressure steam, would go out the stack. So they were going through water like there was no tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. Now the tankers, the only thing they use in the Navy is diesel, like jet fuel or diesel fuel. Mm-hmm. But at that time, it was really, I just couldn't believe my eyes. But it happened. I mean, I expected something to go awry, but it didn't.
Yes.
As long as it was filled to the top and there were no fumes.
Yes.
And these about 3 or 4 of these guys are putting cigarettes out in the aviation gasoline.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
very interesting.
Things that don't happen anymore.
Yep.
But anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy Light Up Ocala, and thank you for your programming, and thank you, Mr. George, for being on the air.
No problem.
Enjoy your program every Friday. Thank you. Bye.
So when you see it in the movies where they trickle gasoline from one end to the other and then they light it, it's not really the gasoline that's burning, it's the fumes?
Well, the fumes ignites the gas.
Oh.
The gas is very flammable in that sense, but it needs an agent to set it off. Mm-hmm. So that's what the fumes do. The fumes ignite in the air, and start it, and then you see it tracing. And then, of course, the gasoline soaks into the wood, floor, or whatever it is, and that's what burns. But if you put gasoline, excuse me, on the concrete out here and light it, within seconds, it's gone. Once it burns up, it's gone.
Oh, okay.
But that's why when they use it as a catalyst and they put it on wood or in someone's home, they see the fires and such. It's to help the wood just catch on fire. The fumes itself and the gas just evaporate and you're gone.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So, are you going to light up Ocala tomorrow?
We're going to light up Ocala tomorrow.
And
stopping by the WOCA booth to see all the things you're going to have there. You guys are going to be walking around some with your microphone, maybe, huh?
That's what we're doing. Yes,
Yep.
we're going to get some sound for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I'm going to ask people what they're thankful for. I can start with you.
Which reminds me, real quick, before we get to that subject, you have your Thanksgiving song still online?
Yes.
You want to mention what it is and how to get it?
It's called The List of Things That I Am Thankful For, right?
Yes.
Robin, yeah.
And we get that how?
It's on, well, I don't know, but you go to just look up Robin and the Giant. That's
Okay.
Robin and me. We did it a very long time ago. But yeah, it's on there somewhere.
All right.
The
Yep.
list of things that I am thankful for.
I had downloaded, I think I told you last week, I downloaded it, years ago, but I'm probably through my second or third, computer, and so I probably don't even know where it is.
So what happens then when you have one computer and then you want to get to another computer? Can you plug those two computers together and transfer all that information, or is a new computer not able to accept the other one because it's so old?
No, normally what I do is take the hard drive out of the old one before I get rid of it. Because it's very hard to erase everything on that whole hard drive, and you don't want to just sell it to somebody and all of a sudden they have all your information. Everything, every place you've ever been, on the internet, everything else. So I take the hard drive out. But before I learned to do that years ago, I would download the information to an external hard drive, or I would segment my new hard drive. In other words, cut it in half. So although it says it's C drive, I turn it into a C and D drive. And I cut it in half. So let's say it's 1 gig. I do 500 megabits over here and 500 over there. And I load it that way. That way I have the new operating system, which could be Windows 10. But I also have the old operating system, which could be Windows 7. And then some programs that I have only work on Windows 7. And if you want them to work on Windows 10, you have to buy the newest one, and it might be $200 or $300 for that software. Well, I don't care. I open it up in Windows 7. Or and the newer ones new programs may only open up in Windows 10, so I have Windows 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But all the pictures you took, everything are saved, on that hard drive. If you put them on a thumb drive or something like that, that's fine. But thumb drive, they're a little slower to open up, a little slower to close, and hard drive is very fast, especially a solid state hard drive as compared to the manual one.
You know what drives me nuts when something with the computer or the camera, the phone has almost like no memory left.
Yes.
And you go to delete stuff. And you have it says you get this much memory being used by pictures, this much from audio, and this is all. And then it has other. It's like a gray bar usually. This much is other. And it's usually half.
Yes.
And so how do you get rid of the other? Do you know? Is there a secret to that?
Well, you might want to first go to your, you click on computer, and the computer will tell you what drives you have in your computer. And then you could go on to the next one, which is called control panel. And in your control panel, you should see something called programs. And you click on that, and they'll show you all your programs. And you start looking at it, and you might see a program you downloaded that you have no idea what it is.
Yeah, right. Don't use it anymore.
And you don't use it anymore.
And that's what other is
Yeah, and you can just delete that program. Well, just about every program takes up some of your, some space someplace else other than your hard drive. In other words, if you ever want to erase a program, it will say, "Are you sure?" Because it's associated with this and this. And it won't name them in the sense that where it's associated.
Right.
It might say UL19. What in the heck's a UL19? So
the underwriter's laboratory.
But if you know for a fact you don't want that program anymore, just delete it. That's all. But that would free up a lot of space.
Does the Underwriters Laboratory still exist?
It does.
Do you remember you used to get everything had the UL label on it? I don't see that anymore.
It's changed to a hologram. So in communications wiring, it's printed a lot of times UL number so and so, but a lot of times it's not. It has a little hologram, and I have a little reader that's the size of a business card.
Really?
That's translucent, but when you put it up to the box, it shows you the UL number.
Really?
Yeah, that's what deciphers that
cool.
little thing to a UL number.
Wow, that's cool.
To keep people from bootlegging. In other words, just writing down the UL number on their item saying it's past UL. Without that hologram, which is controlled by the Underwriters Laboratory, in other words, they might give 500 labels to a guy who sells 500 items. But a guy who, but he's paid his tens of thousands of dollars to be UL listed. I mean, it's about $10,000 to get a UL listing.
Really?
On one part.
Wow, and how does it benefit the person who uses it?
Well, the UL laboratory tests it against everything. How much heat before it breaks down.
Oh, so it's a precautionary thing.
Yeah, if you drop it, how far before it breaks. And there's all these tests that UL Laboratories does. How much current does it draw? How much voltage does it use? And then that's if it meets the specs, the federal specs, whether it's FCC or FTA, then it gets a number.
Okay.
And that's the UL listing. So that's why they want you to buy stuff that has UL listings. Now, there's a Canadian one that's called CCA, I think, or CEA, and there's a Chinese one, an Indian one that are still UL laboratories, but for those countries. And then a lot of times you'll see all those initials after an item. Means it's passed the UL inspection in every country.
Oh, okay. So that makes it international.
Yeah, because you might buy something from India, and
is it always electric, or could it be mechanical?
It could be anything. Yes, UL tests everything there is. If you mention a specification, UL tests that specification to make sure.
Is that what you look for now that you're building your boxes?
I have to look for it because in doing wiring, let's say if I was going to put internet in this building, if I bought some cable that had all the specs of another cable but no UL listing, and this building burnt down for some reason, and it said the reason why it burnt down had nothing to do with the cabling. May have been a furnace you left on, but the fire used the wire as a wick. So it started in the back room, but now the wire's catching on fire and wicking all the way up to the front office here. Then I would be liable, and I would say, well, I bought this cable, and it said UL number, so unless it has that hologram on it, it's a fake number.
Oh, my God.
Do you know where we saw a hologram, by the way? We went to the Silver River Museum, and they have a hologram of a...
woolly mammoth.
Thank you. A woolly mammoth.
Woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
It's cool, sort of.
I think so. I think it's very cool. It's looking at you and eating, and then it rears up, and then it turns around and walks away. And then comes back.
Yeah, it's a little bit translucent. You can see through it a little bit.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
But it is pretty neat.
Holograms are great.
So we'll see you tomorrow?
Yes, we will see me tomorrow.
So there'll be 28 food booths.
I may be wearing a coat, though, tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
I am, sure.
Which food booth do you always go to at Light Up Ocala?
Well, my wife is partial to the, what do they call those, elephant ears? Or
Oh, I love elephant ears.
Yeah, those things where they squirt it in the hot oil and they fry it.
Yes.
And then they take it out and they put enough...
powdered sugar
on the other sink of battleship.
Funnel cakes.
She loves.
Oh, funnel cakes.
Oh,
I stay away from that.
I mean, she'll go anywhere with this funnel cakes being sold. She loves funnel cakes.
Well, we'll see you tomorrow then, and enjoy your evening, and stay warm tonight and tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville.